Chapter 4 Feeding, Part 1. Princess only eats one food and one food only. Marvelous morsels. The bacon bonanza flavor in the pink can is the only one that she likes. Don't even try to give her the creamy chicken carnival yellow can, or the luscious lamb green can flavors. She will not eat them. That's ridiculous, said Mom. For one thing, 3 cans of marvelous morsels cost more than a steak. Egg. Our puppies have never eaten that fancy stuff, Lizzie agreed. I don't even think it's good for them still. Still, Charles said, Angela left us a few cans, so we might as well use them up. He didn't know what the big deal was, but it sure would be easier if Princess ate Baxter's beefy chunks, which Buddy seemed to like fine, and they promised Angela to take care of Princess the way she wanted them to, or at least Charles had promised. He wasn't sure if Angela would have left Princess with him. He hadn't, and he really wanted to foster Princess. The tiny little puppy was sitting happily on his lap right now, and the Pearsons gathered around the living room. Aunt Amanda has gone home, and the rest of them are looking over Angela's list. You'll get your marvelous morsels, he told Princess. He stroked her ears. Don't worry, Princess did not seem the least bit worried. She just sat there accepting Charles' pats, and whenever he stopped for a second, she'd look up at him with her eyes lifting, then one tiny little paw up and tapping Charles' arm until Charles started patting her again. Once he was saying something to his mom and didn't pay attention to her paw, she gave 3 short, sharp barks. Ruff, ruff, ruff! Hey, you! More patting, less chatting. Did you forget about me? Here in your lap? Oops, sorry, said Charles as he resumed his patting. Angela probably patted Princess every time she barked, and the puppy was explaining that. It's just like Aunt Amanda said. It wasn't Princess's fault that she was spoiled. Maybe because she was so young she could learn how to be unspoiled. Not that Charles could teach her. Charles gazed down on Princess. Says he could still not get over how tiny she was. Tiny nose, tiny ears, tiny paws. How could any dog be so small? He was smaller than Huey, his class. Guinea pig, and she hardly laid a sing. As he closed his eyes, he knew that she was barely in his lap. But Princess had a big personality. I don't know how she doesn't, Lizzie said, shaking her head and looking at Princess. She's no bigger than a rat, but it's obvious she thinks she's better than everybody else. Like she's doing us a favor by letting us be in the same room with her. Rat? Asked the bean, who was sitting across the room with Buddy sprawled across his lap. He stared at Princess, too. Princess is no rat. That Princess is Uppy. Lizzie didn't mean that Princess is a rat, silly, Dad told the bean. Princess is definitely a puppy. He made a face. Sort of. He added under his breath. Like Lizzie, Dad was not a big fan of little dogs. He only said they were the kind of little dogs that weren't really good at anything. Well, said Mom, who had been reading more of Angela's list, it's dinner time for people and puppies. I'm going to start our supper. And Charles, you're going to feed Princess. You better get started, too. It's going to take you a while to do it the way Angela spells it out on the list. What do you mean? Asked Charles. Mom didn't answer. She just handed Charles the stack of papers, he groaned. There was no way in time he had to read through the whole list right now. He better stick to the part about foods. Feeding, part 2. Use the pink dishes. The ones with flowers on them are for breakfast. The ones with bunnies are for dinner. Dishes must be washed and dried exactly between meals. Put 3 tablespoons of marvelous morsels, beef, bacon, bonanza, pecan into the dish. As it comes right out of the fridge, be sure to microwave on medium for 7 seconds. Mash the food with the back of a fork until no repeat, no lumps. Not even small one. Princess does not like the lumps. Put on a food dish on its matching pink placemat. Flowers for breakfast, bunnies for dinner. Now, make sure that you put up Princess's favorite picture, the one of her pink teddy bear, near her eating spot, so she can look at it while she eats. Eat. Fill the water dish with Crystal Fresh, with 1/2 bottle of Crystal Fresh spring water. Do not use any other brand or Princess will not drink it. Call Princess to eat. I usually say, Princess, Denny Dens, or Princess, time for brekkie. Charles let the list fall to the floor. Okay, he said the princess, I'll mash your food, I'll put up your teddy bear picture, I'll pour your spring water, but I am not going to talk baby talk to you. Princess just gazed up at him with her 2 tiny black eyes with 2 shiny little buttons. She tilted her head and gave him a puzzled look. Look, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand what you're saying, but I don't know what... But I do know that I'm still waiting for dinner. Hey, what's taking so long? Suddenly, Charles had a feeling that he just might be talking baby talk before too long. Charles was very careful with Princess's dinner. It took 10 times longer pouring out a bowl full of breakfast beefy chunks for Buddy, which he also did. He was also a little nervous about litter or not. He was doing everything correctly. But when he called, Princess, dinner time, she came scamper right on her tiny little twinkle toes and just a blur of motion. Princess went right to her pink bowl on the pink palace mat with the pink teddy bear picture taped up on the cupboard door above it, and began to eat. She had not seen the nose that he skipped the baby talk. Baby Princess wasn't so fussy at all. Delicious. Not a single lump. That's how I like it. Charles watched fascinated as Princess nibbled daintily and happily at her food and lapped up droplets of water with her tiny pink tongue. It was kind of true what Dad said. A dog this tiny was like a dog, but so different from what Charles was used to. Compared to Princess, Buddy was like a jolly giant, chomping and laying his beefy chunks, then slurping away splashily at his dented metal water ball while his collar tags clanged side to side. After the puppies had eaten, the Peterson family had their own dinner. Afterward, Charles played with Buddy and Princess in the living room. Tossing a ratty old monkey sock for Buddy. It was his favorite toy these days. And a miniature pink tennis ball for Princess. Playtime Part 1. Princess Leader played with A, her pink tennis ball, or B, her pink butterfly tug toy. Both puppies had a great time tearing after their toys and prancing after Charles with their tiny tails high pridefully and their prizes clenched in their jaws. Mom came down after they're put into the bean to bed and told Charles it was almost his bedtime too soon. You better read this section, mister, she said to Charles, pointing to a spot on the list. He looked down at the list inside. Bedtime, Part 1. Princess usually sleeps with her 3 favorite bedtime toys. Her stuffed ladybug, her pink squirrel, and her squeaky saucer.